Oh yeah, FlickeringMyth.com. That can only mean one thing. My man Angus is back at it again, and this time he's got something to say about toxic fans and how they're handled in the media. So that means get ready, because we're about to get hit with one of these. How's it going, everybody? This is Phil. Once again, we find ourselves over at FlickeringMyth.com, and Angus has put together another think piece, if you will. This time, again, as a part of his The Most Disappointing series that he has, and it is subtitled Toxic Fans and How They're Handled in the Media. The thing I like about Angus is he kind of comes at it from a different perspective than what most other websites that talk about this topic do. He's definitely not a shill, that's for certain. And he kind of just cuts right through the bullshit. And he calls out all of these other websites on their nonsense and how they're kind of using this story and its sensationalism to garner clicks and page views and things of that nature. I'm happy to always showcase an Anghus Houvouras article on my channel. I think the guy, he just really comes at things from an interesting point of view. And, it's a kind of point of view that obviously, if you're on my channel, I think it's something that a lot of us tend to agree with. So let's jump into his article. And, again, he pretty much says it all when he lays it out there. So there really isn't much commentary that needs to be done when you're reading one of these articles. So let's see. Anghus Houvouras on toxic fans and the media. One of the things that keeps the fires burning in my brain is the concept of toxic fandom. It's become so pervasive in our always connected world of social media. Most of the stories play out in a similar fashion. A casting decision or creative choice is made on a popular geek property. A minute percentage of fans end up getting abusive and troll creators and actors until someone like Kelly Marie Tran makes a conscious choice to jump ship and abandon social media. And there's the wonderful Kelly Marie Rostico. Then a slew of sites put up articles about how fans have exhibited racist or abusive behavior, or both, and forced someone to flee in frustration. This is a many-headed monster of a topic. There's a lot of nuance and a fertile middle ground to plow. But today I want to focus on one specific piece of this argument. Stop calling racist assholes fans. They don't deserve the designation. These are not fans. Calling them fans is disrespectful to the 95 to 97% of the fan base that reads the comic or watches the movie and manages to not be an abusive, racist asshole. Calling them fans is not only misleading, it also lends itself to a narrative that forces readers to consider that these bigoted, short-sighted, terminally toxic dildos deserve consideration. Someone who is so obsessed with a fictional character from a comic book that they abuse a real-life person should automatically disqualify you from being described as a fan, as well as having your perspective normalized. The most recent story involves Anna Diop, who is playing Starfire in the new DC Universe digital series Titans. Apparently enough trolls bombarded her social media for her to turn off comments on her Instagram feed. Sounds familiar. And there she is. Rather than the media ignore these raging rectums, they decide to cash in on hate clicks and run the story describing them as fans and sit back while people get upset over a ridiculously small percentage of trolls and makes it feel like this is another salvo in an ever-growing culture war. But it's not. It's just a small number of assholes who lack perspective, an unhealthy blend of racist, obsessive-compulsive gatekeepers and misguided, ignorant ne'er-do-wells. Websites need to stop engaging this small subsection of fandom. Posting stories about them only emboldens them and further inspires them to continue their disgusting, hateful tactics. and calling them fans excuses the behavior as a product of passion for the source material. The abusive behavior being used against Kelly Marie Tran and Anna Diop is not the product of fans, but the product of hate and ignorance. You don't get to call yourself a fan if you're harassing the people involved with an adaptation. No matter how much you purport to love something, tearing people down and exhibiting abusive behavior isn't the product of love. It's the product of entitlement and ownership. The solution to this problem is to disengage with those creating this toxic environment. The first step is labeling them for what they are, not fans, but racist or trolls. Fans didn't drive Kelly Marie Tran from social media. Trolls did. Fans aren't harassing Anna Diop. Assholes are. I suppose you could add the word toxic or obsessive in front of a fan to help make the designation, but I like the idea of fandom being about admiration and love of something. Applying it to hate-filled humans feels like a badge they haven't earned. I mean, hell, Mark David Chapman killed John Lennon, and they often use the word fan to describe him. It feels weird to like John Lennon music and be put under the same identifying umbrella as the guy who murdered him. Let's stop calling these raging wrecks of humanity fans and stop normalizing their behavior as the product of fandom. Fandom shouldn't be this ugly, and we should do what we can to ostracize and exorcise them from the conversation. Sometimes that means websites might need to focus some discretion and not run stories emboldening their hateful tactics. Sadly, the perpetual hunt for traffic will continue to see sites posting stories about this kind of terrible behavior because hate clicks means revenue. And that, my friends, is disappointing. Anghus, you nailed it again. You knocked it right out of the park, and this is what goes on and what's been going on for months now. The way the media has taken these stories, and they've used them to run with a narrative that takes a small percentage of this fan base that is dismayed and feels discouraged by the product that Disney's Lucasfilm has turned out, as with films like The Last Jedi, namely, and then Solo. And, it turns us into one large toxic group. And it's just not the case. I've been around this portion of the fan community now for, the better part of this year. And, look, the conversations can get a little bit heated. And some people have a certain way about them that could come off a little rough around the edges. But for the most part, the people that I've come into contact with personally have been exceptionally nice. And there is a definite feeling of community here. And I don't feel that, at least the part of people, the group that I feel a part of, is a hateful, racist, bigoted, misogynistic, troll-infested part of this fan community. I feel that we were exceptionally disappointed by a movie, and we all kind of found each other, and we grew from that wreckage, and we've become a large vocal force that can affect change. And a lot of people like to shout us down, and these shill media sites that are trying to get on the red carpet and exclusive footage and behind the scenes for Disney, they are the ones who wave that flag and write these pieces, these hit pieces, about all of these fans that just because they didn't like The Last Jedi, they're evil, hateful trolls, and they're trying to get people like Kelly Marie Tran troll her to the point where she shuts down her Instagram, and Daisy Ridley shuts down her Instagram, and John Boyega gets driven off of Instagram, and it look, I mean, is there trolling that goes on? Absolutely. And you're never going to be able to control it. I mean, this is the internet. It's a bit of the Wild West. But Overall, this is a fan community, a portion of the fan community that wants to be heard and wants to go about it in a way where, not necessarily trying to scream and shout like a bunch of maniacs, but voice our opinions and have a discussion about what we feel needs to be done to bring this beloved franchise, the Star Wars franchise, namely, back to its rightful form, where it was a celebrated franchise throughout the whole entire fan community, and everybody agreed on a lot of things as opposed to being at odds with each other. Really, that's my take. And articles like this, I think, are very important. Nobody is shot over to this website to make any comments on it. And I just find it funny because it's, everyone likes to comment on the articles and all these other websites where they talk about fans being so hateful, and then a guy comes out and he writes an article that calls everybody on their bullshit, and nobody has anything to say. So it is kind of ironic when somebody lays it out there like that people kind of turn and run in the other direction. So anyway, that's all I got on this. Again, I'm always happy to showcase an Anghus Houvouras article whenever I get the chance. The guy is, like I said, he's a straight shooter, and he speaks a lot of common sense, and I respect that about him. At least as far as this topic is concerned, I happen to agree with him wholeheartedly for the last two articles that I've read regarding this situation. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'll leave a link to this article in the description if you want to go over there and post a comment and tell Anghus, hey man, right on, high five. Feel free to do so. And that's all I got for today. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and feel free to comment down below. And if this is your first time here, feel free to hit that subscribe button and give that bell a little click, and the next time I post a video, you'll be notified about that. That's really it. So I hope you guys have a good day. Be happy, be safe, be healthy, and take care. Bye-bye.